Welcome back to the HCS Pro League 4 finals for 2016. Our Championship Sunday has been kicked off by the champions, and they've come through it unscathed. 4-0 for Fathom Esports in the opening match of the day. Time to move on to our second one very shortly. Before we do that, let's reflect back on our first game of the day with our panel members. Onset and Lethal are both here. Mark, what do you make of that? I mean, you both said 4-0, 4-1 is probably what we expected to see, but the performance was really good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Fabi came out the gates hot. I mean, there's always the question, first game of the day, you know, they're going to be a bit tired, they're going to be ready, but they've obviously, you know, Jim say weren't warmed up till game 3 is a bit scary for the rest of the tournament. I think he meant warmed up in terms of his hands being warmed. Yeah, well,
it's quite cold today.
But if he's coming out and saying he wasn't warm till game 3 and they're still dominating in that fashion,
bit worrying
for everyone else in the event,
imagine, like, later on, like, you know, it's going to be absolutely insane. Like, the first game he warmed up in, got a triple and a double ground pound, like, that's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't
that's
it?
That's what a scary Jim can do.
In terms of pulse, they dropped down obviously to the lower bracket, not out of the tournament just yet. You pointed out SLG, there were moments he showed flashes of brilliance, but he wasn't really that consistent across the whole series, was he?
No, it's just very difficult when you've got a line-up like Fab. Like, don't get me wrong, against players, teams like Infused or Vibe, yeah, he could probably show off a bit more about what he wants to do, but due to the lack of support from his team, especially a team like Fab, it's so difficult to show your true talent.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because they're not going to let you get into a game. You know, they've come over from France, they've sort of got settled in, they want to sort of warm up a little bit, but Fabi will just put their boot on your throat and they won't give you that opportunity.
What do you make of their prospects in the lower bracket?
I think they need to play a bit more aggressive from what I saw there.
A little bit scared at times, weren't they?
Yeah, there was one particular play.
In the mid, kind of just sitting on it. And
one particular player, just say it was SLG, sort of picked up a few kills with the Rockets and then sat on the on the DMR on Coliseum and didn't push into the base, and it's kind of that questioning yourself players, like, do I push in? Like, what do I want to do here?
I want to keep this weapon, but I want to do something with it. You're kind of caught in a cross mind, aren't you?
Whereas Fabi, if they're in that position, they're in your base already.
Straight away.
Yeah, exactly, and they're picking up spawn kills. So little things like that, I'd like to see them play a little bit more aggressive. Don't be scared, get out there. You know, you've got to beat these teams, and the only way to do it is to get in their base and just cause some havoc.
Yeah, because that SLG point out with Collie with the rocks and stuff, it's like he was acting as though he was trying to get through a metallic door or something. It's like completely impenetrable. But yeah, you're right though. You've got to play without fear. The whole point of it is, if you don't have pure aggression and movement on this game, there's no way you're going to get anywhere or even win a game. That was a clear example of that. But now that Pulse are in a lower bracket, you know, I still think they could possibly take a series, maybe against someone like Infused, but yeah, they have to really change how they played. But you've got to remember, that was a very confident Fabi we just saw.
Yeah. Okay, gents, we're going to get more from all three of them, or both of our guys in just a moment. We've, of course, going to move on to our second game of the day. Now, this one should, by all accounts, be a lot closer. So let's meet the two teams, Vibe and Infused.
Infused versus Vibe.
Alrighty, once again make some noise, Team Infused and Vibe! Alright, match number two. Boys, this is going to be an amazing match here. First thing, coming to you, Flux, over here to Team Infused. What's been the preparation ahead of this first match for you guys today?
We've done loads of practice online. We've got online 7 days a week. I mean, we've looked at all our mistakes on theatre. We put a lot into preparation for this event.
And Snakey, over to you, buddy. So how great an experience is it being here at the finals, Studio One, in front of a live audience like this?
Yes, it feels amazing to be back playing online. It's always lovely, you know, playing online compared to online. So yeah, I'm just pumped to play.
And also, fellas, you've seen Fab had a great first game there, a whitewash. Do you think you guys can be as lucky against Vibe?
Easily.
Easily? Any response to that, Snakey?
Well, we'll get into the games and we'll see.
All right, it comes down to the games, boys. Get behind your consoles, please. Once again, a big round of applause for Team Infused and Vibe. Let's head back to Paul and the team upstairs to have some pre-match analysis.
Very spicy. We like that. A little bit of spice in the start of the game. It's always good to see. Bit of banter between the two teams as well. And I've got a question for Lethal on Onset right now. Who has won the opening segment war? Who's had the best
Where did
intro?
Snakey get a bike from?
Yeah.
Like, who's the poor soul who's laying on the side of the road on his way to work?
Rob Black is actually walking home.
Yeah, exactly.
He's had to walk home because of that.
To be fair, I asked him a little bit about he's got a bit of a history with his VTs, and he goes, I've got something special for you boys. I was expecting anything but him rolling in on a bike.
Yeah, it'll be a hoverboard next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Well done, Arkell.
So who's won the war of the intros then? If intros were the Pro League, who would be sitting at the top of the Pro League right now?
Vibe.
They've got to be.
Vibe are in a league of their own.
The serious business between these two is that they are very well matched. They met last season in the Pro League. They have a massive 7-match. It was a 7-game, obviously, between the two. There was a little bit of tilting in the last game as well. Then this season, last game of the season, the regular season, and Vibe turn it over and they win against Infused to finish in second. So initially we looked at it and went, it doesn't really matter, it's a nothing game, they finished second and third anyway, but actually they get a choice of red and they won a grand more. So it did make a little bit of difference, but this is a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a live event. You know, it doesn't matter what's happened online. Online's online. This is a live event. We've got an awesome crowd in today, and you know, it's going to be a hell of a match. I think you look at both sides. You look at Infused that picked up Kimbo. You know, last time he was one of the ones picking up the trophy. Last time we were here. You know, you got some players who have gained a lot more experience there. You know, Lides of Batchford, Flux, a lot more experience now coming into it. Doodle, Halo World Championships, he attended that. So you've got a lot more experience on this lineup. They've added the firepower of Kimbo. And then the other side, you just look through that lineup and you think there's no weak link. You know,
exactly.
You've got Septic, you've got Snakey, you've got Cristola, you've got, you know, Snipe Drone. There's no weak link on there.
Well, I might offer a little weak link in that Septic can't speak very much at the moment.
This is true.
Not the best thing, is it, in
No,
terms of communication?
he's got a bad throat or he's got flu or something. I don't know what he's got, but he can't speak.
He's not feeling very well. But
not a word.
No.
I was like, okay, that's half their communication.
Yeah.
Gone. Because we know Snipe Drone doesn't really communicate that much, but it doesn't take him back from being a fantastic player, though. Because
Nice save.
Nicely dug out of the hole there, Harry. Well done.
Okay, he calls out maybe one or two things, and you know it as well. But yeah, just in general, like Infused, the lineup in comparison to last season is absolutely phenomenal. Like the replacement of Season 1 Warlord, not Season 2, with Kimbo, it's a massive, massive asset. They've boosted their slaying power with Doodle as a nice backup lineup. I just want to say with Doodle, online this season, he's done much, much better. He's improved dramatically. He's obviously gone through a lot of his gameplay and shown what he really wants to do. And you've got to remember, Batchford, a LAN Batchford, offline Batchford, he is one of the best LAN players here. And I'm sure, just like last season, he's going to show us all how it's done.
yeah.
Is one of the other key things in this that Infused have picked up a series win against Fab? Is that in the back of their minds? Do you think they're the only team to have done it in 2 seasons?
It shows how good they can be. But it also
Or do you
shows
think there was a bit of element of revenge for Kimbo in that one, and they were up
It's
for
a
it?
little bit. It's a little bit,
Jimbo
but-
was saying on the desk, wasn't he, earlier, Mark, that other teams, they practice to play us.
Yeah, they do, and it's great for Infused to show that they can, you know, take down Fabi, but at the same time it shows how inconsistent they can be.
Yeah.
Because that's the heights they can get to, but then at the same time it shows
Why are they dropping games to others?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it will be very interesting for them to see. But you know, you look at the Vibe side, and you mentioned about Septic not being able to speak. I think this is a real opportunity here. It might sound strange, but Rob was sort of their in-game leader, not in the sort of the loud getting pumped way, but I think a lot might have to fall on the shoulders of Cristola here. You know, this is one of his first live events, but I think he's one of these players who's got a really, really cool head, and I think this is an opportunity for him to step up as that in-game leader, command his troops, command the likes of Snipe Drone and Snakey, who are, you know, slightly more quiet type players, but just go about their business. I think this could be the making of Cristola.
Because you've got to remember, an in-game leader who can't talk, that's a massive deficit. That's having a singer who can't talk. Like, you know, you're absolutely... Or sing.
Yeah, it's like
Great
having Madonna on stage who can't sing.
Yeah, just
Not
turns
a
up
bad
and
thing.
just like waves a little
Some might
few
say
times.
she can't anyway.
Yeah. But no, we're going to see a right slobber knocker. I reckon it could go all the way. These two teams have scrimmed each other a lot. It's been at the start of the season it was quite close, but now they've started to realise what each other do. We're going to see anti-strat versus anti-strat. It's just going to be incredible. I think this is the match we're going to see, the best semi-final at the moment.
It's hard to argue with that, with the way that they've matched up through the season and in previous seasons as well, and just how close they seem to have been between two. And how big an impact is the veto going to have in this one? What are they going to go for? Standard maps here? Don't think we're going to see anything funky?
No.
Like throw some stasis in there just for fun?
I don't think stasis will be played that much in this series. I don't know if it will at all. But you've got to remember, with Infused, they've played, they have random times where like sometimes they'll beat like teams like Fab. They were the only person to take out Fab Junior Online League. Other times, they might lose to Pulse or something. But yeah, I'm hoping we see if we see a strong Infused lineup like we did in the against Fabi when they actually beat them in that series 3-1, like in quite dominating fashion, it's going to be an incredible series.
Yeah, we're going to kick things off on Plaza. Thoughts?
Plaza.
Yeah.
We've had 2 Plaza games already today.
We remote on
Sunday's
this.
better than Saturday already.
Absolutely, like 2-1 already. Yesterday was a bit weird. I mean, I think Harry pointed out it's a more like open circuit teams didn't play much Plaza. Pro League played lots of Plaza, and then maybe the open circuit teams were like, ooh, they all seem good on Plaza and we're not very good on it. Maybe we will veto it. So maybe that was what ended up being. I think we saw one yesterday, didn't we, the whole day.
Yeah, and that was like in 30 games. I don't know why, it just seems to be very unpopular. Maybe because of the fact that you got to remember at that time, obviously VWS and Prophecy like don't have a clue like what the AM teams know in terms of like, what's the best game types and stuff. But they knew the opposite way around, so they probably just maybe it was their best maps, but they decided to beat it. But with these teams, they know exactly inside and out what it's like. I'm hoping the coaches have gone through all the other teams' gameplay to see what's going on. Havoc's a fantastic coach. He's coached Fabi to first place. He's had a good record on his coaching days. I'm sure he'll be a great asset. You've also got to remember that Havoc did play with Infused for the first 3 weeks until a few issues occurred. And I think right now, with Havoc as a previous player, he's going to help him a lot more in terms of where they should push, what should they hold, how they should break that setup, like what do they do differently. There's so much he can add to the team compared to other coaches just because of the fact that the first half of the season he was with him.
And another thing with Havoc, he actually coached Fabi when they went out to Vegas. So, I mean, as far as experiencing, the best play styles in the world, and you can pick things up from that, that's huge for them. So, good pick up from Infused there, getting in behind them.
What do you think of game types? Where's the strengths lie for these two teams? Is there a better Slayer team amongst these two?
They're very closely matched in the way they play the game. I think Infused will rely a lot on the likes of Kimbo to put up the numbers to basically hold down map positioning for them. Where on the other side, you're looking at Snipe Drone to essentially do the same thing for Vibe. So it will be, I think a lot of this is going to come down to that battle between Snipe Drone and Kimbo. If you put the sniper rifle in one of their hands, casters, please switch to them. It's going to be a show, it's going to be a highlight reel. So it's going to be a battle between those two. But I really, really hope that Vibe can find that in-game leader. And it might be the opportunity even for a player like Snipe Drone to say, do you know what? I haven't been the best communicator in the world. My teammates down here, I'm going to come to the front now. I'm going to be that guy.
Do you know what I find quite interesting with Infused especially? They've never lost a Regret Slayer. And I see that as very interesting because Regret Slayer is very situational. And it's just in general, like in my opinion, I think some other people might say this as well, it's a bit of a coin flip in terms of like what could happen, because at the start anything can happen, because like literally if someone grabs OS or burns it, etc., then once you've got 1 P2, 1 top mid and 2 holding carbine, just like making sure you've got full map control, like pincering them in the bases at the time, it makes you wonder like how on earth can they win a coin flipped game type so many times? Well, 100%.
Well, we're going to find out, because I reckon it's probably in the mix here. It's prediction time, which means you two guys have got to earn your money. Now, you didn't earn any money from the previous game because that was a straightforward, everyone knew what the result was going to be, the 4-1 or 4-0, so you didn't get any money for that. And you're not getting bonuses for this next one, but this one, I reckon, is where you earn your money, because this one's tough, Mark.
If we were going to earn our money.
Yeah, you were, but you're not now, because this is a tough call between these two teams, isn't it? So where do you go? Which one?
After you, Harry.
I'm back to you.
I love it. That was a great pass.
This is tough, because I'm a bit of an Infused fanboy, but...
No, really?
Yeah, I am actually, yeah. And I'm probably going to say 4-3 to 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Game 7.
Okay.
Yeah, all the way.
Do
you know what?
It's going to be a long
Go
game.
on, Mark, go for it.
Game 7.
Yeah.
Vibe life, baby. We're going Vibe. We're going Vibe. We're getting Game 7, though.
All right.
Game 7.
Wow. I wasn't really expecting that one, but we do have a unanimous decision, albeit 4-3 to Vibe. Let's find out what happens in game number 2 of the day, our second upper bracket semi-finals. We head over to the commentary team.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, indeed. The only reason Onset is actually saying that is because he used to kind of play and work with that team, so he's just been
heavy bias.
Yeah, totally biased. Don't listen to that guy. So anyway, Andrew, pleasure once again. How are you? How are you finding the weather here? It's a bit cold.
It's a bit cold, but actually it's a bit colder than I expected. Typically, coming from Seattle, you can expect really the whole of England generally to be quite on par with Seattle weather, right? It's gray in the winter. Summer, it might be nice outside. It's kind of
the only place I've ever wore a coat in America.
Yeah. But it's I mean, what is it? It's about 40 Fahrenheit, just about freezing in the evenings here, so it's quite cold. But
talking interesting numbers.
Regardless, I'm excited to be here. I'm especially excited to be here on the stage for this match here.
Yeah, incredible. Two teams, as we mentioned before in the pre-game, second and third seed going up against one another. Obviously, back in the summer season, it was Vibe who eliminated Team Infused from the competition. This is pretty much a grudge match. Come on, audience, make some noise. We've got an amazing game coming up. Some fantastic players, your second and third seed. Obviously, the winner of this will move on to face Fabi in the upper winner bracket. Team Infused, Andy, being the only team in regular play to take down Fab.
That's right. Of course, we're going across our rosters on Vibe. You're going to see Cristola, Snipe Drone, Septic, and Snaky, as you saw in those intros, as well as on the Infused side, Kimbo, Flux, Doodle, and Batchford. One thing I got particularly excited about, you heard a lot of people say it so far. You heard Jimbo stay on the desk earlier. This is truly anyone's series.
All right, then I think on Plaza, it would only be fair if we kick things off with the ex-Fabi member. It's going to be Kimbo, brings some real aggression and real firepower to this roster. One of the best players in Europe. I remember seeing on Team Beyond how Mick actually called him out, said it was a very questionable drop because this kid is truly, truly talented. Let's see where he goes straight off the spot.
All right, now particularly looking to see what Kimbo is going to be able to do for this top mid grab. You can bet that he's going to be trying to fly in, and I think they forced a burn there from Cristola, if I'm not mistaken. So we're actually going to see a burn right around the 51 mark. Going to be keeping an eye on the timer for that.
Taking some great shots at the guy in gold. Will force him to push back. Just ducks his head behind the cap, but unfortunately someone's dipping down. A loop down he goes indeed. So we'll move across some of the players. See who's alive. You can see Flux is taking on two, looking for that triple as he just drops down out of the way. Then someone comes flying through the air. They will happily clean that one up on Snipe John's POV. Now this is a man who we know can do wondrous things with the sniper. Not going to be one on this map. However, he's got the nuke combo in hand. Let's see what he can do. Just turning into the corner. It's absolutely fine. Get some great defense on that bottom hill.
Yeah, exactly. Once you start getting points on the board right now, they're sitting pretty. Snipe Drone and Vibe are going to take this one step at a time. Now they're going to, looks like, maybe even make their way towards Nest, as they do have 3 players coming up, which is great to see those numbers. But Batchford, very important that he gets that trade. Also very important that Doodle gets that kill for that squad, so they're going to delay that push right there.
Looking across the board, let's see who is alive. It's going to be Flux, the man, the team captain of this Infused roster. A couple of grenades are going to go. There's one player, it's going to be Snaky, who is no shields, misses the first 2 shots, gets the third, does clean him up. However, that's going to be a Vibe team member who trades this one off. 1, 2, 3 members of Vibe are going to be jumping straight into bottom mid. They're going to turn that point straight into the backhands of the red team. Couple of great shots there on the guy over at Glass. One player's going to come in, take out Snipe John. They will manage to at least claw back Nest, but still the time's ticking away, Andy. 4-14.
Yeah, we started to see what looked like the makings of a Vibe full rotation there for a split second. If they had gotten Nest and had some really good pressure on Loop and Glass, we could have seen them maybe have a trip cap extending as long as a minute or longer. But once again, Infused pushing back and staying very much in this game and now actually scoring.
Kimbo did well to stay alive for a while, but finally they got the better of him. We're going to see Snaky jump up top gold, takes down Batchford. See you later, buddy. Grenade goes in. There's going to be another player there. We'll catch some hitmarkers. There's the double. Nice work from Snaky, taking the real high control. Triple kills there if he wants it. Kimbo says no, my friend.
For me, you got to wonder, actually, as we're going to go to Snipe Drone top middle to see what's going to happen with this camo. As you remember, it was spawning at the 51 mark. Going to be total control for Vibe here, so it was only a matter of time. Oh man, if he had kept the pistol out, they might have been able to steal the camo as well. But for me, I gotta wonder, Snaky gets that really clean double that he actually started sprinting out top middle, did not let his shield recharge, and then he actually falls there to Kimbo, right? So taking that second to let your shield recharge really could have kept their team there scoring.
Look at that spin round from Snipe John to at least force Kimbo back. Fair enough, both players had no shield, but the straight spin on a pinhead. Now he's crouching, they've no idea where he is. In comes Doodle, gives him the perfect to the face, but thankfully Kimbo is there once again to clean him out. It's going to be Flux on the kill feed as well, taking down one. Kimbo just staying alive every single time, and he's always under fire, but at the moment he's just been a nuisance. Got to call out though, triple cap in full effect here for Infused, rocking some serious time up.
Yeah, and you guys saw Kimbo right there. I mean, you said yourself, I mean, Kimbo's such a consistent player, but when you have the team surrounding you, and even if you have that top middle area, you don't know where to go, and even as he tries to double back to Cafe, immediately finds an opponent. So really good map control here from Vibe.
Excuse me, I actually said it was Infused, but it's not Vibe. I'm getting confused with the colours we're used to seeing Infused in red. It's actually going to be Team Vibe. Obviously, they are the higher seed coming into this. Cristola, then, one of the best players at the moment. I want to say more of a breakout player because he's come out of nowhere and just been destroying people online. Once again, pushing this triple cap. Infused just struggling to, I want to say, find the feet at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Now, total control once again here for Vibe. I think we're going to see that camo right around the 41 mark, so we're going to keep an eye on that timer as well. But look at this, Cristola is going to drop down as well, giving some great help to Septic, I believe. Off-screen, Septic actually throwing down some Disgrace and some shooting of the bodies there, bottom middle, because this score is running away for Vibe.
Maybe the third or fourth time that I've now seen Snakey in the kill feed, just racking up a double kill after double kill after double kill. It just feels like the raw slaying power and just the overall full map control. I think he got caught. I want to say questionable play not to duck down. I think he did get caught a little bit on
I'm going to stay right here on this death cam because I think, yeah, that's going to be a camo grab right there. Was it, I think, a burn if I'm not mistaken? I think we saw a player die that was going to be Kimbo on the other side. So that will be a burn right around the 40 mark again. So now over to Septic.
Septic looking around, just jumping off. Gonna hold down to Soda, which is absolutely fine. No shield. We'll check out bottom mid. Gets the quick reset, which is absolutely fine. Tagging there. It's a great place to be. It's going to be Batchford just steamboating in. He's going to get some support from Dip, and he's just putting on some great shots. Batchford actually alive, comes back out, but now he's got some support. Fair enough, he did die, but it was more than enough to at least force them back and completely keep them off the point.
I think we just heard, that's going to be the game right there. I think we just heard an 80-point run, if I'm not mistaken, in the audio. So what a run indeed. Let's go over to the Vibe stage to see how you see Septic and Snaky both jumping up. They're going to exchange high fives. They've got to be happy with that game one result.
That is a tanking.
That got away.
What a way to kind of, kick off a start and set a precedent, so to speak. We just saw a triple kill coming up on the feed there from Flux as well, but unfortunately just not good enough. Doodle with 10, topping the scoreboard. Batchford and Kimbo failing to show up and live up to expectations, only with 4 kills apiece. But Snaky, Arkel, man of the hour.
Like you said, Snaky in the kill feed all game, 16 and 7 from him. Such a performance. That game got away from Infused very fast. The speed at which Vibe was able to get those trip caps towards the end of the game, and I'm quite sure we heard an 80-point run. No signs of stopping from them.
So now this is the same scenario as before, right? We need to look towards Infused and just say, right, it's time to reset, gentlemen. We can't let this one really get our heads down. This is where their failing was, Andy, back in the summer season. With it still being a little bit of a young roster, I mean, fair enough, they've now got a lot of experience on that. They've made some changes, but they just simply need to reset. Say, okay, next game of what we got is going to be Truth Slayer. Now, this one, absolutely, this team will excel at this. You've got Kimbo, who always will push that fuel rod time and time again. You've got Doodle, who will never make his way out of P2. They will just literally keep the rifles, keep the height advantage. This should be their map, in my opinion. If they do lose this, and they lose it in quite a tremendous fashion compared to game number 1, I think they're going to be in trouble for the entirety of this series.
Yep, and one thing that we wanted to follow up on, if you see actually the vetoes here, actually, we did see a Vibe regret veto very early, unsurprisingly, based on what we heard over at the desk. So we're now going to see all of that will trickle down into this Truth game. Like we've been talking about yesterday through the matches, Sims, the way that this game type is played, how important the opening rush can be, which team is going to be better at fighting back out of their base, and whichever team is really able to play the full 50 kills, right? With the momentum base and the word being used so much over the weekend, snowball-y type gameplay on Truth, whichever team is really able to connect those spawn kills, right, know exactly when to push out. If you have a moment where you get a few players dead in a base, what do your players who are alive, what do they do? Where do they go? Do they hide? Do they wait for a team? I mean, so many decisions have to be made on the fly, which makes this, of course, such a demanding and difficult game type.
Obviously, you've got the camo and you've got the sorting play on this map, so, and there are ways to break the setup, right? You know, you've got means and abilities, you've got things at your disposal to break that, but if you've just got P and car control, you've got the rifles, you've got the fuel rod, it becomes extremely hard, especially if you've got someone over in those bubbles as well, which is kind of forcing them to the opposing side. It becomes quite snowballing.
Yeah, who was it yesterday? Egoed we saw.
Yeah, they just crashed. It was a BWS at the end.
It was camo fuel rod, control after control, grabbing camo fuel rod with top mid. If you have opponents spawning in a base and your team, and you can really rely on your teammates to be watching both car and pink front entrances, and you have a camo fuel rod player who's just lurking around time after time and cycling those weapons, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be able to run away with the score.
So one thing I want to do during this match, I do want to go with 2 and Astra listening. Definitely with Team Infused. We want to hear how they're going to be communicating throughout this one. Kind of just generally get a feel for the emotion on that roster after that tremendous game number 1 defeat, unfortunately. They really need to pull out the stops, really need to get geared up and just, forget about it. Get into game 2 and start slapping faces. They can beat this team. They've beaten them before. They've beaten Fab online. Yep. It's a really good roster.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and start things off here with Snaky after that 16-7 performance from him on Plaza, jumping into the gameplay now as they head towards Pink.
Looking towards his teammates then. One of them's going to drop down to Pink 1. Excuse me, they're not. They're going to Pink 3 a little bit too late as Kimbo bags the first camo. Does go down, so that one's going to be burned. Sniper on set, Cristola. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
All 4 dead, just like that.
Snaky has the time to actually stand up out of his chair for a second and yell to the other side of the stage there. Like you said, all 4 dead. Also want to keep an eye on that camo timer. It looked like it was right around 52 for that grab, a pretty quick one.
He will be the first death on the Vibe roster, but I tell you what, this is a different machine of a Snaky coming into these finals. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic player. I believe in the last renditions of Halo, he hasn't fallen out of the top 4 when he comes to events, but certainly this is a new Snaky. This is a very fired up Snaky, one who wants to get the win in this event. But right now, it's all about Cristola, his POV, getting some shots in the back. He's got a teammate giving him support to his left. Some shots are going to come in from top mid. Turns around the corner, Flux comes in. Look at that.
Wow.
That is perfect teamwork.
Yeah, perfect bait and switch. I also have to say I love Cristola's patience, his discipline there, right? He has fuel rod in hand, so he doesn't want to get challenged there from Pink 2. He wants to back down. He wants to make sure he stays alive Pink side. And just when he needs help, his teammate, I think it was Snipe Drone, came to help clean up that kill on Doodle there. So they'll maintain their lead here, up 11-5.
More importantly as well on this roster, they're a very loud and proud team. There's quite a lot of banter across it, and they've certainly got a hell of a lot of experience. Cristola tags one up with a splinter nade, moving on into the base. We'll see how many people he can rack up, because it's just a bit. He's got people on the opposing side, his teammates there. 1, 2, 3. Snipe Drone also cleans up in the kill feed. We're going to see Kimbo challenging, more than likely going to be ground pounding, so at least he doesn't come back up. However, he's off the radar. And he's just getting, they're boxing individuals in, there's no time to breathe.
That's it, look at him so well, 16-6, and I love what I'm seeing from Cristola. He's being aggressive when he can because he knows he has teammates around, but at the same time, the second they were collapsing on red, he starts to double back towards Car, right? He knows he immediately wants to get back to blue and give his team formidable positions around the middle of the map, and that's allowed them to continue this lead. Also going to be keeping an eye on Pink 1 here as well.
Kimbo will finally take down Snaky. Batchford also picking one up in the kill feed, so now there's going to be 2 down for Vibe. Time to make something happen for Team Infused. Camo clearly coming up, Batchford smells it, he's got it on the perfect time, but unfortunately it's burnt. That's going to be a killing spree now for Cristola. I think, Andy, it would be good to pop on board over with Team Infused. Let's dive on into an Astro listening.
Grip glass. I like it. Eli. Watch out glass. Watch getting pure on. Hey, looking at man. He's dead. Nice. That's one. We'll find him in. One Cristola weak. He's top middle. Top middle, 2 shot. Oh my god. P2. Got one. Nice one. Another one there. One there, P. I'm coming. P3. Easy man. I died. One go bottom red. Stay alive, Ryan. I got one P2. P3 Snaky, Ryan. Yeah, one go to P2 as well. He's absolutely P. Try lift. Yeah, I can kill him. I'm jumping over there. One go to P3. One go to kill. I have fear, guys. I guess I've said this.
Then P Street now, I need help.
One minute, watch that, Cristola.
Nice. I'm gonna hold P2.
I won't get P3. Holding car. Nice, guys. Stay alive now, guys. Let's car 2. I should get a kill. Nice.
Let's top red. They're gonna spawn red.
Yeah. Make these spawns easy, guys. Make the spawns easy. I needed some mid. Someone get the fuel top mid. Nice. Someone get the fuel top mid.
Yeah, I got it.
Nice, man. Let's go, boys.
Spawn blue behind us. Yeah, I'm loving.
Let's collapse on red basement.
I'm one shot. I need top.
I can collapse on red basement. Stay alive. I can push this.
Nice.
What's your PG? 2 is cut 2 here. Nice. Yeah, 2 is cut 2.
I'm with you. Go to the relay. I'll get P2.
I got 1 cut 2. Nice. Watch this wall. It's the wall. Bubble. I saw a bubble. Hold on. I'm lifting up.
One blue, Ryan.
Yeah, one there already.
He might go up.
He's still a cut 2.
One blue still Snipe Drone. Wait.
Blue bubble. Can anyone help? 2 shot.
One blue, Ryan.
Yeah. 2 shot cut 2. I died.
Is he weak?
Yeah, don't run into them alone.
Nading out.
Chase you. This left goes. I'm coming, Hamza.
You pitch P?
I'm on P1.
I'm going P2.
He's on the P2.
Cameras at 45, guys.
He's bottom blue weak.
45 camera, guys.
I need top.
Bottom mid weak. 45 hammer, guys. 45 camera.
I need top.
Ryan's pinching.
One guy blue. Watch up blue. Cameras up there.
Yeah.
Got one.
Everyone
here.
He's done P1 now. He's gonna get that. He's got it. Camera P1. Front P1 camera.
I lit up. Dead.
Chasing P3.
Absolute done.
I got it. Stay alive now, guys. Make these spawns easy, guys.
Okay. I'm just sitting P3. One's already blue. Just one blue, yeah.
Okay. No deaths, no deaths.
Get nice.
No deaths, Ryan. No deaths.
Stay alive.
One's red card, red card, red card.
They're pushing P. They're going to push P.
Red card. No carding. Hold on.
Help me, Robbie. Help me on red card.
Two red card.
I will. I'm here.
Rob's really weak there. We can red card.
No deaths.
Push red with me, whoever's here.
Easy. He's still watching. Nice.
Watch the leak out. Watch the leak out as well, guys.
I'm just watching
I'm
P.
going for field, guys. I'm going for field. Leaving blue. Wait, another one.
I'm from P.
Got shots.
One more P.
He's one shot.
Nice. One bliss. I have fuel.
No easy deaths.
Robbie, I'll play with you.
Okay. What's blue line?
First kill.
He's weak there.
He's weak. Don't challenge.
I'm nading him. I get him.
On the counter, guys.
Two guys blue carded. I got him. Flip. Underneath them. I'm underneath them. One shot.
One shot. Start the weeks. One shot. Let's get the flank. Let's get the flank.
Come on or something.
I'm on your P sheet.
Tusha, come on.
I'll get him. Stay alive.
Not on top right. Septic top right.
You guys red, help me on car if you can. Anyone?
Help you on car. Red glass. We'll red glass. I'm carrying fuel. I'm saying it's so huge right now. Am I spot blue?
I think one's still in red, guys. I'm not sure.
Make sure we clean out one.
Oh, fuck.
Watch that P2.
Nice, good trade.
Let me play car with the car.
Blue still. Arkel.
No easy deaths here. First death here, guys.
Keep it up. I'm with you.
Robin, help you pink.
I've got car. Just play
This camera's around 40. Camera's around 40. I'm not sure.
Hey, is that?
Nice. Top of the camera. Easy melt. He's bottom mid now. Camera's around 40, guys. Camera's around 40 camera. We don't have camera, guys. Around 40. We don't.
Just bait me.
Septic's there. Septic's on the line.
I got
Let me get fuel.
One shot or something.
I'll kill him.
Nice. 2-2-2.
Let me play for fuel.
Stay alive, Brian.
Daylight comes on. You can't shot him your spot.
Bachi going in left, right and centre. The comeback is real, ladies and gentlemen. 43-38 with some choice words and some choice manoeuvres coming out of this player. He's just stayed alive for so long, Andy.
He is. I want to show you Flux, who actually finally died there with the camo, but Batchford was playing so well, anchoring his team here. Look at this, 44-39. We'll go over what just happened in that comeback, but Sims and I are both in the booth agreeing we needed to stay on board in that Astro listening with Infused, because what a listening it was. They went from being down 16-6 to now leading this game by 5 here with just a few minutes left in Truth Slayer.
Honestly, we called it before. This team excels at midship. This will be a big kill if we can get it, which he does. Killing Frenzy, the hand goes up in the air. They are now only 4 kills away from taking map number 2. This is what they needed, Andy. They needed a confidence boost. They sealed the deal on this one. They set a precedent in this series.
Look at this also, Kimbo getting a kill as well, 49-40, only one more. You know, Infused has got to be fired up, just like you said, Sims. You can bet they're going to collapse on this one. Looks like car size, several players flying out. Can he finish? Yes, indeed, it's Kimbo who finishes. And my goodness, Infused has got to feel good about that comeback win there. Look at the words being exchanged down the line from Batchford.
That is what we like to see. The crowd is getting hyped on here. That is, what a comeback. And you know, when you were so down at the first, I thought, all right, this ain't going good. They're going to start losing their heads. The tilt might be a little bit too much real and a reality, but I mean, what he said, the scoreboard tells itself, right? 15 kills coming out of Batchford and only 8 deaths. That is some sterling work. 14 and 12 coming out of Kimbo. Doodle 11 and 8. Flux are the only one on the team going negative, and it was only by 2 across on the opposing side. Septic and Snipe Drone. 9 and 14, 8 and 12, not having the best of games. Quick shout to Snakey, though. 10 assists on the board. Pretty, yeah. I mean, breakers that one down for a little while. So, we look at Batchford. He got the frenzy at the end.
Right.
They just did not shut him down. That man was just left to roam the map and do whatever he wants. He had fuel rod. He had sword.
There's a few things. I think Vibe really started, first of all, I mean, Batchford was playing out of his mind. And second of all, I started to see what felt like Vibe playing a little bit scared, right? Because they had led this whole game, and they start sitting back a bit. And then you just had what felt like perfect teamwork out of Infused, combined with Batchford making these bold plays. But there's so many things we can break down from that listen, and so many fantastic pieces. Right here, this moment right here when Batchford gets that kill, you heard in the Infused comms, every time that they weren't sure exactly what the enemy team was, or there was 4 alive on each side, you heard them say first kill boys, meaning they need to get the first kill. The second they get the man advantage, they're able to push. What that does is it forces the team into a specific mentality. Great play here by Batchford, as we saw slides exchanged on both sides, but when you are a player and you hear something like first kill, it changes the way you play. if you're going into a mentality of simply thinking that you need to increase your team's score or win an exchange overall, you're going to play a situation very differently than you'll actually play something like, we need the first kill. You're going to play discipline. You're going to be doubling back. You're going to be asking for help. And that mentality is what allowed them to come on such a big comeback.
Let's take a quick look at the vetoes then. We will see Vibe take out Fathom CTF. Infused will ban out Coliseum. And then Vibe take out Stasis, which lands us back-to-back on Truth. Now, question, Andy. You've just won Truth. Does that give you the advantage? Fair enough. I know it's not a Slayer and I know it's an objective, but does it give you confidence going into the same map again?
I really think it does. It depends on the map and the game types that were being talked about. If you think about that mentality, how confident are you from a map to map? For example, Rig Strongholds, Rig Slayer, they play a little bit more differently than something like a Truth Flag and a Truth Slayer, in my opinion. But it's a perfect opportunity to review what we just saw. They were down 16-6. They brought it to 24-20. It was then 30-29. They finally tied it at the 31 mark, tied 31-31. Batchford with such a big play. You might remember it. He forced the snaky camel burn at 31-31. And then from there on out, it was all about Infused. It was all about Batchford. They tied the series 1-1, heading into Game 3. Capture the flag on Truth.
Fist bumps all around on both sides of the stadium. We are now into game number 3, all tied up, one apiece, Vibe and Infused. Looking to see which team can advance and take the lead in this series. It's going to be a quick sword slide. Septic gets his visor ripped clean off.
And it feels like we picked up exactly where we left off there. I wanted to give more love to Batchford as he had such a performance in this game. And look at this, here he is with the sword running the flag.
Oh, a little bit of a fumble though, unfortunately. He went a bit too far, bounced off of the ceiling.
Ooh,
but
didn't mean to clamber there.
No, little bit of a post fancy footwork at the end there, unfortunately. Going to see Kimbo staying alive. Just like I say, that curse of the caster, the ground pound, GPK, 1-0 Team Infused.
Look at that. I mean, he's able to bring that in. So once again, Batchford brings that flag pretty much all the way home. He had 2 fumbles with the flag, yet they're still able to cap. Look at that Flux also yelling down the line as Doodle, I think, clipped a little bit of that Eli instead of connecting with Flux on that fuel rod. But regardless, it's Infused off to a great start. And team-wise, it feels like they're picking up once again where they left off momentum-wise.
1, 2, 3 down now again for Vibe. And on the opposing side of the map in the kill feed, Andy, all I'm seeing is sword kills coming out of Doodle, so they have complete map presence. Now they finally shut you down, they stop the advancement, they can get that flag return. He's actually inside the opposing base, so he's just pretty much, unless he's in his own there, excuse me, it's my mistake there. He's just slicing people. He's been alive since the sword initially came up. I don't actually believe he's died. He's just been sat here being a nuisance.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in the kill feed that would suggest that either now. Just once again playing cautiously. I think finally he's going to get pushed down here, and he will drop it. For once we'll go over to the Vibe side. It's been all about Infused in this opening now. There's Kimbo there, lays down that perfect kill. And it looks like here now Sneaky coming across and going to pick up that double kill as well. But looks like he's seeing down the line there. Not sure why 2 players there weren't moving. Looks like might be exchanging a word with the station referee. It looks like, yes, Sneaky you see looking down the line. So might be there words being exchanged from the, looks like the Infused side, as we'll come back to us now, as I think talking with the station referee about maybe a controller issue or something of the like on their side. So I do believe they're actually here, pause if I'm not mistaken, and we'll get word on exactly what's going on there down on the stage. But regardless, as we talk about Infused opening there, it felt like we watched the continuation of the Slayer just become a capture the flag.
Yeah, the level of aggression which they approached that one straight off the start, you saw Batchford, he just went in, grabbed the sword, completely ripped Setix, just ripped his face clean off, and then it just spiraled out of control. A couple of fumbles at the end, I must say. It was a little bit unfortunate. Otherwise, that would have been a flag cap and he would have kept the sword. But since then, it's been Doodle's had it in his back pocket and just been a nuisance. You saw at the end, Andy, I've got to call it out. When we looked at Doodle's POV, he was crouching down and turtling underneath the enemy's base. It took 3 members.
Yep.
3 members of Vibe to close him in, pinch him, and finally take him down. Now, fair enough. They've got the kill, they've got the sword in their back pocket, but most importantly, which is in the hands of Team Infused, that's 3 members of Vibe just waiting to get boxed in.
And they're huddled in one of the worst positions on the map, right? They're huddled at the front door of their own base, which is essentially whether his teammates are screen watching or they're simply collapsing and watching the game unfold. That gives you such an opportunity to push in from top middle as well as Pink and Carr. One thing I'm not, we'll wait to hear word. We did see a moment where Doodle was shooting Kimbo and he was not moving there, so likely a controller issue that we'll hear. I'm not sure if we're going to see a cable replaced, but once again, we will get word from the back there. But Vibe, the one thing they need to do, is really slowed things down, and could be a saving grace there on the Vibe side that Infused may have had a controller issue, because they need to come into this game much, much stronger.
Yep, we did just get confirmation it was indeed a controller problem, so we'll get that replaced. And we will get carried on with this one. We'll also get confirmation from the floor exactly how this one's going to be continuing onwards. But both these teams, very, I mean, you look at the first game, Andy, this is night and day in comparison. Vibe were well and truly in control of that, but Infused have really flipped things on the heads.
True, especially when you think about, how heavily we saw the domination in Plaza strongholds. I would say that Truth's, Infused win on Truth. It was not as dominating as the Plaza stronghold. So the question is, in Truth CTF, how is this going to go? Are we going to see one team really pull away, or will it be neck and neck like we kind of saw in game number 2? That question is still yet to be answered, and of course, still lots of Halo yet to be played.
I do hope that it does continue. It would be a shame if they got off to the bad start. Hopefully this time. I mean, that's the only problem, yeah, right? So you come off that start, the opposing team knows where you're going to go. They know the open strat now. So whether they change things up or whether they just do it again and hope for the best and hope that it works, but it was a fantastic start. And this team, I'll say it again, this team really, really plays well on Truth. And the one person who was a little bit under, fair enough, we were looking at Batchford. He was doing amazing stuff. But Doodle on this map will just patrol. He will control a tower. He will control P-side. He will control Carbine. No matter where you put him, you'll see him peeking in and out of the bubbles here and there. But more importantly, he'll stand his ground. He won't rush in. He won't be super aggressive. He'll just hold that platform, hold that area or section, as Infinity continuously likes to remind me. He'll just be a nuisance and really be a bodyguard to stop anyone transitioning over into the 50-yard line of his team.
Right, that's exactly it. And when you have a player like that who can be such a distraction, who knows how to stay alive, and it's not just about knowing exactly where to be, right? It's which routes are you checking, which sight lines are you using, how do you stay alive as long as Doodle did, right, at the bottom of the base. And then that's what Doodle was able to show us in that game, and we'll have to see on the Infused side if they're able to keep that up.
So just confirmation from the floor. Vibe will indeed require 3 caps. Infused will only require 2. So they do have the 1 cap advantage lead, which is going to at least relieve you of the pressure. Fair enough, they capped before, so why wouldn't you after all? But I've got to say, this is when we look from this POV, and you guys are actually going to see it on screen now. I know, fair enough, we're only waiting for this game to start up, but it's not the loud and proud team Vibe that we saw after game 1. It's not the loud and proud personalities. Snakey and Snipe Drone on that. For anyone who knows European Halo, these are the lads. They like a laugh, they like banter, as you specifically like to put it, Andrew. They are in the fun. They've quietened down just a little bit, and it's all smiles on the opposing side here at Team Infused, which is what we didn't see after Team 1. This is what I wanted. I was worried that the heads may flop after that defeat of game 1, but it's a change.
Oh, certainly definitely a different vibe, no pun intended, on their side of the stage as they get ready to head into this continuation of game number 3. And I think just as you had said, just as Jimbo had said, and even I talked to the gentleman on both sides of the stage before they headed into their pods, and this series can go any way, and if these first 2 games are any indication, we could be teeing up a long series here.
Yeah, I can definitely, without question, even the analyst desk said it more than likely will be a game 7. Unless Infused just steamroll it, they've got they're a little bit more relaxed now. They understand what the score is. You can hear the audience in the background. Fully packed out house here, ESL Studio 1. Big shout out to everybody in the crowd. A big shout out to you guys at home watching and all the forums, Reddit, beyond. It's a pleasure having you with us today. Once again, this is a repeat of game number 3. Team Infused will only require 2 flags to win. Vibe still need 3. Your second and third seed going head-to-head.
All right, I want to start things off with Flux. Haven't spent enough time on his POV throughout this series so far. And as you see, this is a continuation of that last game due to a controller issue on the side of Infused. So Infused will only need 2 flags to win their Vibe. Will need a full 3 to close out the game. Flux getting some good help there from bottom middle.
One thing to notice, it was indeed Batchford starting strat this time, turned on his head. He was at the opposing end of the sword. He did get taken down straight off spawn by Cristola. So look for the sword to be roaming around this bubble area. Saw one on the radar blip. There he is. It's going to be Snipe Drone. So the sword's still well and truly in play, but across the map we've got 2 players of Vibe dying. That's going to be Snakey coming in the bubble spawn, while the flag is on the move on the opposing side of the map under P1. Interestingly, Snipe Drone opts to challenge him.
Wow.
That's That's a huge kill.
Yeah, you hear the crowd react to that as well. I love what I'm seeing from Flux. You got to be so disciplined, right?
Teamwork.
He drops down, he lifts, he clambers, drops down, lifts, clambers, plays it perfectly, and draws the triple kill.
The over's there as well. The team Infused, they're really on fire. They're pushing this one hard. The flag is out in the open. More than likely going to be a dead flag, but look at Flux. This man is on fire.
One question I was going to ask is so far in game number 2 and the first part of game number 3, every time Batchford was on fire, Infused was on fire. I was going to ask the question is, how much is this team depending on him? But I think we just had that question answered. Flux going off with the triple and really sending his team there, setting them up for success. But everything now stalemated back out, so both flags back at home.
I think it's one thing we accidentally do, to be honest with you, during the Pro League. We focus on other members of the team, but it's more than 9 times out of 10, it's usually Flux who's the one doing the work, getting the big numbers. He's the team captain, he's the in-game leader. His shot is absolutely on point. We did just see a little bit of a missed one before he died, but now it looks like Vibe is starting to really step up, and there's going to be 2 down here for Team Infused, but Batchford's just got himself the fuel rod.
That's right, so we're going to keep an eye on that off screen as Batchford is actually unable to clean that up, though. We will cut over in a moment if we do see Crystola fall, but Snaky actually wins that battle with Batchford, who had the fuel rod, surprisingly. So we're going to see things kind of even out once again. Score still all tied up, but as a reminder, Infused only needing 2 flags, so theoretically they can simply play out this entire game if they need to, and they will maintain that 1 flag lead. In the event that they allow 1 flag, we could also see this game be tied in the end result as well. 2 players, though, on Team 5 finding themselves in a little bit of trouble. Snipe Drone does come to help just a bit, but we'll spend now some time here with Snaky if he is able to stay alive, and that flag is being pulled by Infused, though, so Infused keeping the pressure up, Sims.
Very cheeky reversal coming out of Snaky. Now he's got 1, 2, 3 members beaming down on him. He's going to get shut down. The sword will also fall as well, so it's going to be 2 players now, Septic and Crystola.
That's going to be 4 dead for Infused right now, and I'll let you know when the first player spawns. It's going to be Batchford, first player up. He's desperately trying to get across the map to Pink 1, but above him, a fuel rod is going to be raining down death from Septic, as that flag is going to be ran here. As Septic brings that in, you hear a flag captured now, so we are all tied up here at 1-1. We'll go over to Snake.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, he may have potentially just killed himself with that fuel rod, just clipping the side of P2, unfortunately, so going to give them a little bit of an advantage once again. Still, we're all drawn up now, Andy. It's 1 flag apiece. Doodle just trying to stay alive in the corner, but he's pinched by the splinters and forced to jump up. But you know what? Someone's going to come up behind Snake. He takes him down as well. Looking across the board, Kimbo's going to be alive here in P2, helping his teammate, however, off of the death. We will see Crystola at least getting a splinter down. Snap Drone with a double beat down, in fact, as 2 members of Team Infused fall. But look at this corner position. They don't exactly know where he is. Just as we say that, the BR unfortunately comes across the map and wipes him out.
That's right. Now back over to Crystola and crew, as they now are trying to push in here on Batchford, and a wise use of the storm rifle is going to allow him to do that. But I like what I'm seeing from Vibe so far. Obviously, we haven't seen kind of this pressure from them since early on in game number 2 on Truth. So it is good to see them pushing back here and really allowing this game to be so netted up, and proving once further that these teams are quite evenly matched, and it's going to really come down to these game types and who can execute each time. But now take a look at this Flux flag run.
Going to be sliding this one in, but unfortunately the flag is out on the opposing side of the map. Might be good to go to a 4-person POV just to show you guys, Andy, if you want to run us through exactly where people are across the map and where both flags are.
Let's go ahead and take a look right now at this Vibe 4-up. So flag is in hand. You just saw as Steph is going to push up. We did have a Snipe Drone camo as well, and they're now waiting to see how this flag stalemate is going to end. It was a double kill. I think that's 3 dead. Flag player is going to be the last alive. Keep an eye on that top right as Snaky, and they're going to get this return almost certainly, as that looks like a full respawn. They might get a double cycle. I think we're going to see this return. Yes, indeed. They cap that, and Vibe actually goes up thanks to the guys in the back for this great look at the 4-up. We're going to leave this 4-up here because Vibe has another flag running P1 right now.
They're absolutely steamboating this one across the map. It's going to be Snipe Drone once again. Same instance as before, with that sword going a little bit too fast. Throws the flag up. It bounces off the roof of P1, and now that's going to be a dead flag unless someone else can get their fingers on that one. Grenades are coming in thick and fast, though. Another player actually going to be P2 and nades him down, so that's going to be a return.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see a counter here from the Infused side. It was a great trade there, looks like, with Kimbo there, so it looks like things are going to slow down just a bit, and we're not going to see a 3rd Vibe cap, though. But keep in mind, Vibe is now up on the scoreboard 2-1.
Everything starting to settle down for just a second. As soon as we say that, Kimbo will drop 2 grenades, will throw up from the base window. going to be Flux trying to keep someone off. Taking top mid control. It's going to be Snapdragon who falls to the hands of the BR. Batchford in the window. Just get some poke out a little bit too far and extend, but he is forced back. To be Snaky picking up a double in the kill feed. Batchford will end that one though. Just disallows him. The triple kill. Fuel Rod is now up. This is going to be an important power weapon, Andy, because whoever kind of, we're looking at that scoreboard, Vibe only need one more flag. If they can get that Fuel Rod and really take control of top mid, it could be a lot of trouble for Team Infused.
That's right there. Apologize for a little bit. You have Cristola's comms in there. We have these players. I don't think we have everyone muted on the side of Vibe, so you're hearing a little bit of double commentary from them as well. We'll make sure that's looked at after this game type here. But Septic now looking across the map as we make our way now over to Snaky. But there is a Fuel Rod in the hands of Batchford.
Yep, indeed. Let's have a look at his POV then. Fuel Rod in hand. That's going to be another flag out and about. So he's going to get the touch on this one. The sword's going to be there. More than likely getting the call on that. If he gets this one in, we're all going to be tied up 2 apiece. He's got ourselves a game.
He's going to bring this in. Looks like does not get the ground pound, but not to worry as there was no pressure coming on from the rear. So we are all netted up indeed, and the crowd seems to like that fact, or perhaps maybe rooting for Infused. But Batchford with the Fuel Rod again, and he's got quite a lot of ammo as he's going to just continue to put on a show. He takes down Cristola, and right now he's going to play this slow because he needs his teammates to push it on the other side.
Tell you what, you really do live off the audience, especially when you see some of the big players and you hear the audience go wild. Such a great thing to hear. 2 players advancing in this base, but there's plenty. It's Kimbo with a double, another flag touch coming out of Doodle.
Wow.
So close. It's Kimbo with a triple there. Kimbo, I believe, with the overkill as well. He gets it. Stone rifle in hand. Flag is now on the move. All 4 players dead. They could probably slide this one. Remember, they've got a 1 flag advantage. If he gets this one in, that's going to be game number 3 going in the hands of Team Infused.
Yes, indeed, and he's going to bring that one in. You see Kimbo jumping out of his seat, and he's joined there on the other side by Batchford as well. Infused got to be feeling good there. We almost thought, when we were in that 4-up, that Vibe was going to close out that game, but Infused, they answer back strongly. Some big trades from Infused, specifically from Batchford and Kimbo during that potentially last flag run from Vibe, kept them in the game. They were resilient. Batchford with some big Fuel Rod grabs as well, and they close out that match.
Kimbo, though, at the end, clutching up and the overkill in hand, and I believe all 4 of them was with the Storm Rifle, just picking players off. They kind of got a little bit worried, right? As the opposing side, he came in on the flank. It appeared, to me, again, we didn't see it on the full screen there, but it appeared like all Vibe were more than worried about what was going on with that flag and really focusing on what Doodle was doing. Nobody had eyes on Kimbo at all. He was just allowed to roam freely. He came in from car side and just completely messed them up.
Yeah, it was once again an example of Infused laying down some really, really great late game teamwork towards the end of that match, and it felt like obviously I do apologize for getting for missing the last bit of that Kimbo overkill as we did switch to him. You saw him kind of cleaning up all of the work that had been done in the base, and then brings that flag all the way home. And when you see an overkill while the flag is already out, I mean, credit also to Infused for having that flag run started, right? Kimbo then flies in and makes it very quick work. I'm sure we'll see towards the end of the game that flag run, but you're watching right now during the first instance here, it was Batchford with what a start. Getting them that first flag cap, obviously huge, as it obviously paid a huge difference. They win that game 3-2.
The one thing that I have to note about this map especially is how, and you saw kind of Batchford at the start and then Kimbo at the end, how when you let one person just take full advantage, how it's so easy just to get that flag, and it's so hard. Once you go 4 down on CTF, and I believe there's a 1.
Kimbo, picks up the 2. It picks up the 3rd on Snipe Drone, and then he's going to pick up the 4th. There's the over you saw in the kill feed, and he's going to if you're pink 1 and you see overkill on your screen, you should be able to close that out.
You can see what he did though. So obviously the Storm Rifle after the second one is overheated, switched out to his Magnum, took down Snipe Drone, come back to it. See you later, my friend.
That's right. So big plays there from Kimbo to close out that game for his squad. You saw the whole team was responding up with him, helping escort that pink 1 run. And had he not gotten that, he had several teammates that were very, very happy to close that out themselves. And it's, like you said, since Infused stepped it up at game number 2, it's been all smiles on their side of the stage.
Eden Strongholds is going to be game number 4. Obviously, Plaza has been played, so we're going to take that one out of the rotation. Vibe will take out Empire. And then secondly, I didn't quite catch that one. It's going to be... It was actually Infused who ban out Rig. My mistake there, excuse me. So, Eden. Thoughts on Eden, please, Andrew. How do we play this one out?
For me, I think we might see Vibe really answering back. If we look at kind of how the series has been so far, we saw Strongholds Plaza, a very, very convincing Vibe win, an 80-point run. There was really no room for doubt there. the truth games went the way of Infused, but they weren't easy. They kind of snuck out both of those. So if I have to look at what we've seen so far, I think we could see Vibe dominating on Eden, and certainly that's what they're going to want to do in this game here. But I think we got to start off with Kimbo after that fantastic closing he had to that last game.
Yeah, you know what, Miquin said it right on Team Beyond. This kid is an absolute monster, and he is not even necessarily a rising star of Europe. He is a star of Europe, and he brings so much fire, so much aggression, and a ton of experience to this Infused roster. A couple of missed shots there at start, but he needs to be careful of the guy who saw it on radar flying through the air. Camo's still not up, forces one out of the window. Needs to be jumping down onto the cages, pushes that one into his chest, so gets the first camo of the game. I like the patience there, trigger discipline, Andy. He just holds back for a second. Probably going to go for the back whack, which he... Oh, no! Rest in pieces, my friend. Things did not go well.
I was going to say, I like the play as well. He was first of all, he was aggressive on pushing Septic out of the tower to make sure he was able to grab camo, but then I think it was actually Septic who doubled back all the way to the stronghold. Kimbo tries to get sneaky and cheeky, and Septic actually gets, I think, which was a true ninja there.
Yeah, I can feel a bit of tilt coming out on that one, because I'd be extremely salty if that happened to me, especially with camo in hand. But Batchford's there. Sends a firework straight towards Snake. He lands it. Snipe Drone comes in with a big double kill. That takes out Batchford and Kimbo, two key players, one big player, and the Rockets as well. So they're going to be ejected from this game for a few seconds. Now they can get some great map coverage now as they force them into the spawn. That's going to be, I believe, Doodle, though, putting some shots on to at least push them back for a second. As you can see now, the stronghold points are back in favor of Team Vibe.
Yeah, what we're seeing Vibe is they're really trying to keep hold of this mid area and finally being able to push in on red, and it's gotten them back in the game. So I like their persistence here, right, on the catwalk and then pushing into red. They're going to drop in the score for just a second here, but perfect shots out of Septic there for the double killing spree.
Absolutely thrust out, knew he wanted that kill and knew he could land the shot. Having confidence in your shot in this game is absolutely key. Will whip out the Brute PR though. This weapon again, you can get that last draw, quick draw medal, especially with the Magnum. Rip off the shields with the weapon, then whip out your Magnum to finish off the kill. Dude's going to try and take catwalk, two players. His teammate's going to help him out, but he's getting absolutely tanked up from Snipe Drone. Snipe Drone clears out Doodle as well, so that will stop the capture on catwalk. Great stoppage there from both players.
Yes, indeed. Septic's going to choose the low cat route here, which I like, but he's trying to find that overshield, which just popped, but it's already been grabbed on the other side by Batchford. So let's go ahead and spend some time with him. Overshield in hand, but he is getting doubled, and that overshield is now gone.
Oh, he unfortunately looked at the wrong player. The play was right in front of him. Little bit of a mistake there cost him the death. 1-2, I think that's 3 players in 5 potentially going down the Wendy.
Yeah, I think we did see, yes, at least. Looks like there was 2 dead for a split second there, but they are back now, but Infused is now going to be scoring once again. So Batchford with a great, great job to grab that overshield around what looked like the 46 mark. However, now it's answered back on the other side by Vibe tripling that overshield. But regardless, Infused leading 30-18.
Tiny bit more patience with these Rockets will have bagged him 2 kills. Unfortunately hitting the floor twice then, just falling short of his target. Does finally make the one land when it counts, but another player's there to at least start the push onto Red Nest. Grenades are going to come in thick and fast. That's 2 players. While on the opposing side, Catwalk's going to be the one that gets turned down. We're going to see Cristola forced into bottom mid to try and stay alive, which he is doing at this moment in time. Sneaky helps him out with the assist as well. You can see the little golden arrow there to help him out, but the beatdown comes out of Doodle. Batch picks one up with a BR on Snaky. Septic answers back and cleans up, and then that's 2 down, so 2 for 2 at the moment on each side. Snipe Drone the only one left to try and do some work, avoids the grenade. He's going to steam and aim down his scope with that BR and just being a nuisance to kind of just hold them back at arm's length.
Yep, great job there from Snipe Drone, laying down all the shots he needed to. Like you said, if you're getting pinged like that with shots, you're not going to have any chance to fight back. So now over to Snaky here on Cat once again, but with him falling as well, now over to Flux, 45-22. Infused still in control.
So, Andy, just for a second, I want you to kind of focus out back into your coaching days. You're down 2-1 in the series, and you're potentially at the moment looking like you're going to be losing this 3rd one. What do you kind of see going wrong for Vibe? Because this is it's nowhere near as aggressive as what we've seen online.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. First of all, they are by no means out of this game. So, if you're on the side of Vibe, they need to really keep that in mind here. But just as I say that, it's total control for Infused. So certainly easier said than done to climb back in this match. But one thing I think we're seeing is Infused really on the teamwork and team shooting. We're seeing a little bit more from them than we saw from Vibe in game number 1. Vibe needs to find that flow, and they can certainly do it that they had in game game number 1. But I think Infused, they woke up, and they're here to play.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. Woke up and here to play is exactly what they are doing. As we see Septic coming round, will clean out one. Now going to hop up to Catwalk, but Camo's there. And yeah, some body shots coming out of Big Bad Batchy once again. Triple cap is in full effect. And now once you get that 3 plot, things start to escalate rather quickly.
And look at Batchford here. He's just going to take his time with the camo. He finally decides to shoot there into the bend. But you got to like that. Was not spotted here. Now he's just going to, look at this. He's going to be raining down shots. Maybe take down Snipe Drone as well.
No!
Another killing spree for him, and they will continue to run away with this. And look at this. I mean, he is ripping this team apart. Finally trades there as well with Batchford, but my gosh, we'll go over to Snipe Drone on the other side. They're down 22 to 91, and it will require quite a special effort for them to climb back here on board with Flux.
Doodle just picked up a nice double as well, so that's going to at least give them man advantage once again. Unless Vibe can do something, and my word, they need to do something and make it happen right now. This is going to be the third map going here. That's going to be GG, more than likely going. Oh, well, they see it.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Look at that. He stands up. Look, Batchford jumps up again, and I got to tell you, looking at what we saw in game number 1, I was certainly proven correct, and I should say I was corrected and proven incorrect, as the game for Strongholds completely goes the way of Infused. Taking a look at the kills here, it looks like it was Batchford, I think, who was 15 and 11, as we'll hopefully keep some stats here. 15 and 11 from Batchford there. They weren't that heavily outslaying their opponents. They obviously, I mean, this is actually remarkable now that I actually look at the stat line. They were not outslaying that heavily. They had 3 players who went positive 4 max, and they won 100 to 22. So that is a very, very structured and disciplined objective play.
It's great to see this team. When you look at the players and the team presence as a whole, it is different from summer season, right? And that's the biggest thing for me. I have to point it out. That team now is fired up. They're ready to rock and roll. They're heading into what could be the series-winning game. It's going to be a Slayer on Plaza. Looking down at the statistics.
Yeah.
Plaza, Andy, Slayer. Run me through it. What are you looking for to secure this win? What are you looking for teams to do?
Yeah, well, what's really interesting is I think they need to play. I think both teams need to play Plaza in not the same way, because here's the Juju boy. There is that Septic Ninja there on the Kimbo camo, which is an early sign from Vibe that they were going to lay down some heat, but it did not continue. You see Septic getting that double kill as well, but from there on out,
look at his face here.
Look at that, he is pumped up. I mean, from there on out, it was all Infused, but. If you are either team, you want to take the energy, the momentum, the composure you had in the game 2. If you're Vibe, you want to play this Slayer the same way you played the beginning of that match. And if you're Infused, of course, you want to play the same way that Infused finished that Slayer. We see both teams have had excellent amounts of composure as we take a look at the vetoes for game number 5, landing ultimately on Plaza. Both teams have shown excellent Slayer composure in the first and second halves of those games for Vibe and Infused respectively. They're going to look to play that same way they can on Plaza, but I will note that the vetoes fell in such a way that we've seen Truth twice, and now in game number 5, this will be the time that we've seen Plaza twice. So Infused is able to win both Truths. If you think that Vibe is a better Plaza team, you might give them the upper hand here in game number 5, but I think at this point, Vibe knows they cannot take anything for granted, and then they really need to come out to play in this game.
So what's most interesting is we're now kind of in the flipped reality from back in summer season. So it was actually, Team Infused that were looking down the barrel of the Magnum and ultimately into, relegated from the competition, which is exactly what Vibe did to him last time round. Septic, got to give him credit, still playing through his illness, and you know what, he had the best stats on the opposing side.
They talked about it during the analysis. We haven't even talked about it in the booth there. For anyone just joining us, first of all, you're watching Vibe versus Infused here in the winner's bracket. A fantastic series so far. Thanks for tuning in. But Septic actually not doing too well, feeling ill this weekend, right? And really impacting his voice, how he can communicate with his squad, so certainly could be a factor here.
The one thing to note about that, what is really detrimental, is that it's kind of I don't want to say it's a bit of a meme, but we all know Snipe Drone's not the loudest of players, He's not the, fair enough, his communication is amazing, but he's not the loudest. He doesn't do a great
Well, I was actually speaking with the Vibe coach, and he was half joking, saying, I'm already calling out for Snipe Drone now I have to call out for Septic as well. You know, I had a chance to coach legendary players that maybe didn't communicate as much as others, right? Neighbor comes to mind, an amazing player, amazing flanker, amazing sniper, but doesn't necessarily communicate as much. There were times where I would communicate for him, right, as a coach, but a coach who needs to call out for 2 players is quite a challenge indeed. But we're kicking here off game number 5. Plaza Slayer with Septic.
Can be even worse as well when Septic is that in-game leader. He is the team captain. As you mentioned, Andy, 2 players down, possibly on communication. It's certainly going to hinder them. So that's going to be the OS instantly, I believe, just stolen across. I think he might potentially be up at S4.
Yeah, I think it was a Kimbo grab, so we'll keep an eye on that. He did not waste any time. I think he flew, yeah, to back top mid and grabs it and runs away. There's Kimbo with the snipe there. You see on your screen.
We'll opt to him in a second. We'll see. Check the kill feed to make sure we don't miss another overkill on stream. You'll notice as well a couple of new skins you'll be seeing there on some of the players. Keep an eye out for them, ladies and gentlemen. And, yeah, down at Septic between a rock and a hard play, sneaking across the map. We'll get an SMG kill. Kimbo just skimming and giving him a heck up there.
We got it. Kimbo is finally, I think, going to be taken down. Yes, indeed. But while Septic was down there, Kimbo was no shields, and then he turned to no scopes, another player as well. So luckily for Vibe, they finally get up there and stop the Kimbo madness, and there's going to be a sniper in the hands of Vibe. So finally we get to breathe here, Sims, because this series has been wild and back and forth, and we certainly didn't have a chance to breathe on Truth Team Slayer.
No.
But now for the first time, or any of the past game types for that matter, probably this Plaza's strongholds, that's an excellent headshot there from Septic, was the last time we actually had a game slowed down. But we'll go over now to Batchford, who's in quite a creative spot here in bottom middle. But just as I say that, Snipe Drone tosses some excellent grenades for him. So now over to Flux. But this game is now back within reach for Infused. It's 8-10.
Vibe taking an early lead, then Infused looking to claw this one back. They've done it before, more than likely be able to do it again if they keep their composure and really keep their heads in the game. It's going to be Kimbo with a sniper rifle. Keep an eye on that kill feed, see if he can peel some faces. Only 2 down the series. We approach 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Somebody over at top gold, then laying down some grenade fire. Kimbo answers back and takes him out though. Batchford on the opposing side, but then look at that push. 1, 2, 3 members just bullying the members out of the posters, and they're wanting to take sniper control. Look for this rotation coming out of Kimbo. Misses 2 shots, unfortunately, but he did have a hell of a lot of fire coming down from over at top gold. Just checking it out again if anybody wants to poke their head out the window. If they do, he will happily put a bullet between the eyes.
Yeah, kills being exchanged there. Look at that, Kimbo making it way too easy. And did he ever want to get the back whack there on Snipe Drone? As we go over to him, his overshield has been completely melted though. So Team Vibe still only maintaining a 2-kill lead here. And, you know, looking at this game type and having watched so many Slayers, having coached a lot of Slayers in my career, this is the kind of game where Vibe is winning, where the lead is a little bit, it's just a little bit too close to the game, and the lead doesn't really feel like it's enough. Now they're starting to pull away at 18-13, but whenever you see a team that's kind of winning a game by 2, throughout the entire match, it's often a sign that their opponents are staying with them, and they're eventually going to make the plays to overturn them here. But I could be corrected though, because Vibe now is up by 5, and if they can keep this lead and stretch it just a bit over the course of the next few minutes, they can pull out a win here.
All right then, Andy, there is 9 minutes on the clock. We do see a 5-kill lead coming out of Vibe. We talked earlier about the communication of this team. Let's dive on into an Astro listening to see exactly what they've got to say.
One shot. Yeah. Loop. City. One shot, great. I'll go for it. Nice. 2 dead. Nice. Got loop. Whole setup. Who's getting loop?
Circle, boys. There's 2 guys. There's 2 loop.
There's 2 loop now.
Right, say what you're doing. Just say what you're watching.
Rob's got net.
I'm free.
I'm 2 dip. There's 2 drive. One shot City says he's on side.
There's 2 in dip.
And 1 top goal, 2 in dip. I've gone yard.
3 dip.
Watch your posters.
3 dip, boys.
Alright, don't die to him.
What's 3 dip?
Hotel.
3 hotels.
Behind the Arkel. Up in field. Look at top nest. One shot, blue truck.
One shot.
A shot from top nest. Got top nest. Blue truck on me. Nice kill, Arkel. On Arkel again. Oh my god. I've got top nest. I'm in field. One shot, blue truck. Nice. I'm blocking loop. OS is 45. What's that flowers week as well? Still blocking loop. Mike, watch your yard. Rob's blue. They're gonna be calling yard behind you. Chase slow. Top gold. Mike, they're in yard. I'm going loop for me. Rob's blue. OS is 5 seconds. 4. Blue. Nice. OS, we have 2 there. We can get this to West. The camera's up. Mike. Nice shit, Chris. It's not that. I'm blocking blue. They're gonna be yard. 45. Yard on S. Yeah, 2 yard. They're live. Nice. Yard with. Rob has OS. I've got yard. Yo, beyond 1 shot. Rob has sniper west. Rob has sniper. No, rotate out already. We can kill them. Push out. Rotate the snipe, lads. Rotate the snipe accordingly. We need to nice shot, Rob.
Nice.
Okay, let's go, Rob.
Nice. S4 as well. Hotel boys, hotel. Hotel boys. Rob, sit back, looking. Hotel weak.
Watch loop, Rob. Watch loop.
I'll go hotel.
Behind you.
Let's go hotel. Now we're going to top nest. Next week. Top nest.
Rob, rotate the snipe. Rotate the snipe.
I'll go. Line for tunnel.
Top yellow, watch out. Nice.
Line for tunnel. Get shot for line.
Somebody here, go. Let's go. Rob, get the SMG. Get the SMG.
Back. Give me hotel now. Should be hotel.
The RP on Rob. The RP on Rob.
Go on now. Go on.
Shit on the man.
We're going to be blue as well. Go BR, boys.
Rob's watching loop. Rob is watching loop.
Go BR.
Just play the game, Rob. Play the game. Take your time.
Playing out now. 2 in yard.
Watch out LR. Watch out LR. 2 LR. 2 LR, one shot. 2 LR, one shot.
Oh, don't go weak. I died from blue shot.
Please, right. Don't die. Nice.
2 top nest. Just stay alive, right? Stay alive. Everyone stay alive. Yeah, baby. Go to yard, boys. Go yard. Oh no, Chris. Play slow.
We have a big lead here. We don't need to push anything. Don't force anything. OS is 44, lads. 44.
Top nest weak. Top goal. Top middle weak. Blue window as well. Blue window.
Get eyes on snipe if we can.
Blue. Yeah, blue got me.
44 OS.
Alright, lads.
Play for this OS. Just play for this OS, lads. Play for this OS. They're gonna have snipe.
Just crowd culture dip.
They've got snipe. They have snipe. OS is 44. Rob's watching flowers from yard.
I'm in dip. I'm gonna just literally go for it. The shoot.
There's gonna be a guy top mid. Top mid.
Blue, Kimbo. Kimbo's players. I know hotel ledge.
44. It's up.
Let's blue snipe. Top now. We'll get Cindy as well. He's baiting. He's going for it. Got it.
Alright, it's alright.
That's got Brius.
They're gonna be aggressive with this OS.
Cindy as well. Cindy weak.
Nice.
Kill the others. Alright, Rob, just don't go dip. Play slow.
Blue boys, just don't get. All right, we come back in at 5:25 on the clock. 45, 11 kill lead, and it's pretty much you. If you're a betting man, you put the money and say this one we're over. However, on the opposing side, Kimbo answers back, puts a bullet between someone's eyes. Doodle's got control of snipe though. They could probably really set up. I mean, it's a big hill to climb, let's be honest, but there's still anything can happen in this. They're starting to rack the kills up a little bit, but only 3 more needed now for Vibe to clip the win.
Yeah, credit to Vibe for not letting. I mean, look at Doodle. You just watched his overshield tick from about 25% all the way down to nothing because they just turtled inside Cafe, which is really brilliant because Doodle could have theoretically used what was left of that overshield to really put a good push together for his squad, but it looks like it's just going to be a little bit too late for the guys on Infused, and Vibe should be able to close this out. Only 2 kills left for them.
Trading off 1 for 1. Doodle goes down. There's the defeat. Vibe take their second map of this best of 7 series. Can they claw it back? Can they turn things around? Anything is possible, but at the moment, Infused, certainly I've got to say, even towards the end, they didn't stop. They didn't just give in. They were still trying to bring it back, but when you've got such a great lead and a really good buffer of like 10 kills, you can kind of just do what you want.
And we saw Snipe Drone there, 15 and 8 from him. A great performance on that side as well. Cristola, 15 kills for him as well. Septic, the only player to go negative, however, dropping 10 assists. He's got to be feeling good about that, especially when you win the game by 12 like that.
7-7-7 on the assist on the opposing side. Hopefully that gives them some luck moving into game number 6. 10 assists coming out of Battery. Didn't have the best of games there. Going -8, unfortunately, but still 10 helping his teammates out. You mentioned only -2 for Septic on the opposing side, but 15 and 15, Cristola. I mean, we have to give a shout to Cristola as well. I think we might have caught in the replays potentially. You did cover at the right time. It was a double kill with the barrel.
Yeah,
it did take out 2
over at Loop. We may see that indeed, but. Taking a look at the highlights here, it was a really good opening for Vibe as well. But look at this, as Infused is they're essentially tied here, 12-13. But what a big overshield grab there. I think on the side when we saw that there. But now 25-20 Vibes. This is when I was saying that if Vibe is able to continue this momentum, they'll be able to pull away. Easier said than done, but they've certainly pulled it off there. As here you see Cristola pushing in, gets the double there, also the triple double there from the barrel, as you said. At that point, they were up 31-22, and then they're really able to run away with this. Cristola also throwing down some disrespect as he was able to just kind of mop up there as he pushed from Cafe all the way into yard. But certainly good pushes from them. Vibe certainly got to be feeling good. Also, one thing you notice from the listen-in on the Vibe side, they had great timing on that overshield, and even though they didn't get it, you saw Snakey, who was hanging out Prius. He will eventually fall. At that point, though, they're up by 10. to simply be tracking the overshield as well as they did allowed them to set up. Doodle couldn't do anything with that OV, and eventually it leads to a Vibe win. And we will now head into a game number 6. Fathom capture the flag.
Looking at the vetoes then, Truth is taken out and ejected from the pools. We've seen that earlier on today. Vibe opt for the second time to take out Stasis. Colosseum is banned out by Team Infused, so it lands us on Fathom. Fathom, Andy, then let's talk about this map. We know sometimes, especially on Capture the Flag, it can become very stalemated. A lot of times we'll see just, you know, both flags out. One of them will run it one side, the other will run it up through the treehouse, and then all of a sudden we'll have a minute of a standoff. How, with those kind of standoff scenarios, how do you break that setup? How do you get the return on that? What's the best kind of thing a team needs? If you're in a standoff scenario, what are you looking for teams to be doing?
Yeah, I think it's really going to depend on the team, their preferences, their play style, but I think the most success we see is kind of the mentality that we saw Infused utilizing in their game 2 Truth Slayer, which is simply getting the first kill. And I think in a stalemate situation like that, simply getting the first kill allows you to then make the decisions. Do we want to push in our advantage here? Do we simply want to use this man advantage to get maybe a top mid control, treehouse control, get someone who's kind of pushing silo, or maybe a power weapon is coming up within 45 to 30 seconds. Do we maybe hold tight on map position and then push in? And I think getting simply the man advantage in slays will then give them the options of what they want to push in and how comfortable they are, and maybe be a bit more aggressive.
A fair few times we do see people being able to just be very, very sneaky, which almost happened earlier on Stronghold, but unfortunately Kimbo did pay the price with that camo. You grab that camo in a standoff scenario, it can be a huge advantage towards your team. We'll look to see who grabs a railgun and camo straight off the spawn. Then we're going to kick things off with Doodle's POV. Dan the man, hailing from, I believe, Denmark. Now, Dan we've seen him at World Championships. We saw him playing awesome back at EMEA. We saw him back here at Summer Finals. He's just a great player overall. Hits the perfect straight off the spawn. Sit down, Snaky. Get off the server. Now see him trying to go one-on-one with this guy up top mid, who has just kind of crabbed away and just hidden away. It looks like the first camo possibly potentially going to the hands of Vibe.
Let's see. I think we might see a burn there, but what was really incredible for me was Doodle actually hit a zoomed light rifle shot on Batchford, and then still had time to get the perfect kill as well across the map. So Doodle there kind of shooting anything that moves.
Hey, if you can't give your teammates a love tap now and again in Halo, then what kind of game are we playing? Headshot coming out of Kimbo, going for the second, just hiding around the corner of the box. Grenades going in. May have been able to hit the little orange dot on the left. Ooh, talk about Matrix-style thrusting. Just pretty much dodges out of the way of the oncoming rail bullet. But look at this, man. He's absolutely no shield, and he's still standing his ground and still, fighting battles.
Exactly. He should not be able to do that much damage when you have a player bottom mid. I think it might have been a miscommunication, because theoretically Snaky could have turned and finished that kill pretty quickly bottom middle from the window. So maybe we might need to see a little bit of better and cohesive communication from the Vibe side. Now on board with Crystal.
Power weapon control and top mid control. I don't know if it would be best to go to this angle. I prefer him with this kind of weapon, because now if he dies, which thank God he had Snaky to help him out, but personally I'm a big fan of getting the railgun. I like what he's doing with the aggression, but keeping it up top mid and really just angling down and raining hell on people from that angle.
Yeah, this treehouse run's going to be a tricky one. Actually, Septic is actually already going silo, so he's actually made it quite far. I like the decision not to go treehouse, to get across a little bit faster and really have knowledge of your sightlines. But just as quickly as I say that, the treehouse presence is going to make it difficult for them to bring this in. Only 3 alive here for Vibe.
Yeah, it's sometimes a bit of a death box here, because you can just get grenaded. They usually bounce off the side.
He's going straight in.
Yep, it's in there, and he's got Septic to back him up, so that they can just run that in quite easily. That's going to be 1-0 to Team Vibe.
Yeah, and right now they're going to need to just hold down and batten down the hatches to make sure that the flag is not countered. And it looks like, my goodness, though, Kimbo with such excellent movement there, as he's able to fly in, going to probably get this kill as well. No! Got the early cancel, but Batchford is already at silo, but he is going to need to book it if he wants to get back to his teammates who are spawning.
Yeah, nobody was in gen, so they got the gen spawn, which supported him out. That grenade's going to bank perfectly off the side, and another grenade as well. Kimbo's left on his own. That's an important kill. Cristola says thank you very much. Thankfully, Flux takes him out. They're going to steam this from him. We're all tied up, Andy. One apiece.
And man, Fuse getting scrappy and really just pulling that flag together. Credit there has got to go to Batchford, because even though Kimbo was in the base with the railgun, you saw he canceled that rail a bit early, did not get the kill. Batchford is like, screw this, I am out of here, and he knew he had teammates on the plat, so the fact that he was able to actually get inside and get all the way onto the porch, and then somehow Doodle flies in. They manage to get the kills, and Kimbo, last player alive, caps it. So they don't do it easily, but Infused ties the game up 1-1.
Doodle here with the railgun needs to be aware of where he is just to watch both angles coming out of both doors here. But I love it. If anyone grabs that flag now, they can literally just walk towards him, you know, and bring it in. He's going to opt to just check out this doorway. Unfortunately, Snaky gets away with his life. So 2 members here of Team Vibe hiding down in Gen. There's one. Kimbo gets the second. The third's there as well. If Kimbo can get that kill, that's going to be huge. Does opt to run out into the open courtyard, which is questionable.
They were going to need a few more kills to really put that off. We'll go on Snipe Drone because I think they're going to be able to push out of the space just fine. They're going to get the return, but Infused would have needed a few more kills and then a very specific run, maybe a treehouse run, for example, and then connecting a few more dots. So they definitely had a little bit of slaying work to do if they wanted to bring that one home.
Everything quieting down here on the home front. There's a second person in the Gen corner. Snipe Drone says thank you very much. He wants the triple kill as well. It's there. And look at the aggression, just literally forces him out of the door, kicks him out of the nightclub. That's going to be, I believe, Flux, who will jump. He timed it perfectly, dropped down a landmine. Flux landed again. He got the reversal medal as well. On the opposing side, it's going to be Snaky jumping onto the storm rifle platform just to get himself a little bit more cover around that corner. He's going to be able to, but the flag on the opposing side, look at that, just drops it. Wow. Says to one of his teammates, you grab this, I'm going to try and find ours. Both flags now out. We're in this stalemate scenario.
Yeah, really great play there from Snaky to put the flag in a very safe position and pit. You have no doubt that he got communication from his teammates that they were able to grab that, which allowed him to kind of put a little bit of pressure on the silo. Ultimately, he makes a conservative decision to not push on that flag return, which is wise because he had just lost a teammate there. So here we are on our flag stalemate.
We'll take a quick look at the 4-person POV to show you guys at home exactly where both rosters are laid across. Snipe Drone hiding back pretty much on his flag. One of his teammates, 2 of his teammates now are down. 3rd-person Septic has to keep alive. Everyone's dropping like flies, so that could be a flag return, which it is. That's going to be Infused going 2-1 up in this map. We moved across to Team Infused. You know what, while we're on this POV, Andy, let's get a Lastra listening teed up in the background with Team Infused, and we'll have a listen to their communication. They are now only 1 flag away from winning this series.
Come back. Watch it, the front. No one on jump up. Right, two and a half. If they're right in. Nice, right. On ace, nice. That's well done. Alright. There's another guy on our flag, I think. I got shot. Yeah, fine. Our kill. Come as well. Down, back. Yeah, that's serious. They're gonna run it into you. Nice. One more gangster. Yes, right. Stay alive. Take your time. Do what you can. Swatch it. Big. I got nice. I'm on the rail. Rail, guys. Weapons. Massive weapons. I'm going next to 30 seconds. One of trios. They're caught. You might drop that nades. A trio still septic. Yeah, top guy. Nice. I got rail. We're 2 dead, stay alive. Robbie. Stay alive. Bring it back. How much? 33. Yeah, 33 camo. Watch out, they're caught. From one corner. Trying to sell out. Slowly step down. He's quick. He's blue. Mate, I'm 33. Our nades, guys. Focus on nades. 33 camo. 33 camo. One shot. 33 right here. 33, yep. They might be top mid. Yeah, one top mid already. I got rail. Oh! Hamza, let's go. There was a guy retreat. Yeah, I'm good for camo. He's a red base now. One on silo, guys. One shot, I got him, Stay alive, porch. Another one red bridge. Guard, needs help. Right now, I'm on flag now. Needs help, I'm dead. I trade it. Slow down. Engine weak, side turn. He's 2 shots. One's in front as well. I will septic, guys. He's gonna be regen. Watch out, Jen. Absolutely. Mike was weak. They can be loader as well. Nice. I need. Pass them off. Nice. One split pierce. I got rail front. No. They're on the base. I got it. Nice. Not on a flag. They're taking it long. I hear you. One's in front. They might take it below you. The one in front. He's taking it front now. Running pin. He jumps. Hands will kill him. There's 2 weak. Another weak. They're fine as well. Alright, we're 3. Stay alive. Shoot him if you can, Dan. Squash it. Nice. They're gonna get a touch on that. Nader. They're gonna touch it. Go to right middle if you can. Okay. He's done. He's 3 steps. Nader, nuke it. Alright, let's go. Play for kills, please.
Oh no, sorry.
All right then, so coming back in this, all tied up to a piece now. We have got a game on our hands. Next cap will win. Vibes back, Andy. They are well and truly up against it, but you know what? They're fighting thick and fast. Here comes Doodle with another pull.
I was going to say, yeah, we've seen such back and forth tug of war as you'd expect from both these two teams and this specific game type here. Is looking at Doodle all the way back. I don't think he's been shot yet. He also has 2 players here. Infused could certainly be bringing this in. Take a look at this. He's going to bring this in. He has plenty of help here. Yes, indeed. Team Infused will win the series.
What a difference. Pretty much an entire season of Pro League makes. Couple of team changes, and there you have it. Robbie doesn't leave the coach in the background, Havoc, hanging for much longer, but amazing stuff. I don't think anyone called Team Vi being sent down to the loser bracket by Infused. Certainly I did not. What an incredible series that was.
Yes, indeed. I will take a look at the stats in just a moment here. It looks like the big story there is going to be Flux, 21 and 14, certainly leading the game there. It looks like the nearest to him was actually on the other side. It's going to be 15 for Snipe, Drone, and Crucilla respectively, but I mean 21 kills there for Flux.
26 out of Snaky though.
Yeah.
Really helping his teammates out, but unfortunately it's not necessarily about the kills. It is in some scenarios, but it's all about how many flags you get in. So quick storyline then, talking about winner bracket. Kimbo's going up against his old team.
That's right, and quite a match it will be. Taking a look at the highlights here. Here was his opening. Doodle somehow manages to zoom shot Batchford, then landed. Look at this Batchforder. And that first flag for them, my gosh, bringing it all the way back, getting into Porch, and then they're able to connect those dots to get that cap. This was a great play from Snipe Drone as well. I believe he gets almost a triple there, and he's going to get the final kill on the doorway here with that Splinter. But here we are when it was tied 2-2, and look at that. I mean, great collapse from Team Infused as they started that flag run there. What a series that was. Such back and forth matches, such fast pace in between them, especially so many lead exchanges. If you looked at the beginning of that, Sims, and you had to place your bets after the game 1 Plaza Strongholds,
yeah,
it looked like Vibe was such a strong squad. I think 100-13 final score. After that, Infused, I think what we said is they really woke up.
I think more importantly, they kept the composure. They managed to just, pass through it and get over that one. But again, when you've got a couple of team changes, you've got someone like Havoc in the background who knows how to really put a presence on the main stage. He's got a big voice, he's got a big personality. You bring Kimbo in with their experience as well, especially with his slaying power. Things just get, so much better. But enough from us up here in the caster booth. I believe there is an interview with Team Captain Flux down on the main stage. Mr. Savage, over to you.
Thank you very much. Make some noise, guys. Team Infused! Flux, so good to see you guys dominate there towards the end. Obviously, you had that first loss in the first game, but you came back in game 2. Did that loss really give you the gusto to take it all the way?
Definitely, man. I just said to the boys, we need to reset completely. Don't let this loss get to our heads, and we can definitely take the series from here on.
Now, in Game 5 there as well, you did have a bit of a setback. What do you do in that situation as captain? How do you inspire the players to get back involved again?
Well, I pretty much told them, boys, we want to roll the previous games. I mean, we can do this. We just need to keep calm, reset, and play how we were the previous games.
We saw Kimbo as well break a controller midway through. Is that just out-and-out aggression, or is that passion coming through?
Oh, it's both. He's a really aggressive player naturally, and he really gets his head in the game, and he's a fantastic player.
And lastly, obviously, you're taking on Fab in the next round. They're the favourites. How do you guys prepare for that next match?
Well, we're just going to have a chat about game types, and think about what we want to play against them. But we're definitely ready going into the matchup against Fab.
We want to know here in the audience as well, Flux, can you take them? Can you do it?
100%.
100%. You heard it right there, guys. Best of luck, dude, later on. We'll see a bit later on. For now, though, back to Paul and the team to take a look post-match and get a bit of a breakdown.
Yes, thank you very much, and congratulations to Infused, coming through 4-2. Of course, our analysts got that absolutely right in their pre-match predictions, didn't you, Lethal Onset?
Maybe. Not.
I'm sorry, Paul, I wasn't listening there.
No, it's just kind of straight out. I mean, on the other hand, no one would have predicted a 4-2 win for either team, actually, because we knew how close they were, and for the first few games, you sort of thought, okay, this is kind of what we thought we would get. Vibe came out of the gate very strong with that 113 on Stronghold game 1. But other than that, after that, it kind of felt like, there's just a few little things here and there. Little great pieces of passages of play by Batchford in particular. Maybe, Kimbo steps up and comes up with a triple. Or some mistakes here and there. It seemed to make the difference between the two teams until we got to Slayer Plaza and you thought, okay, well, 3-1 up. That's game over, isn't it? and then they went and did the other way round.
Yeah, they kept us waiting. Basically, we thought we were going to get it right at one point, and we are admitting we got it wrong. But yeah, I mean, it was the perfect example of a momentum team getting momentum in a series. And Flux summed it up really well there. That's what you need your captain to do, is when we see this first game here, again, when Vibe got out such a hot start in this game type, we thought, oh dear, like this could be...
No, they looked really good,
nasty.
didn't they?
But then it was momentum. Watch it, Batchford picking up this killing frenzy in game 2, and from there they just rode the momentum. And it wasn't just Batchford, it was numerous players on this Infused side stepping it up when it mattered. Batchford getting pumped, Doodle doing things as well, Kimbo, as you say, that disgusting triple kill we saw from him, and Flux just being that in-game leader they needed.
That actually was an overkill.
It was an overkill.
It was an overkill.
It was an overkill.
This is 2 words, Lamb Batchford. I said this before the series, even though...
And then you deserted your prediction.
Yeah.
By going with Vibe.
Like I did say before, and I am a Infused fanboy, but it's so hard to tell like which team's better out of the 2 at the start of this. But it just shows that on land right now, they're showing how it should be done. Like I think Infused next in line with Fabi in terms of how much they grind in this game. Like the little things as well, such as the start strat they had for True CTF, like Batchford going the long route for sword, and the opposite team, I think someone from Vibe was like, oh, no one's hit, and then they realised he just came up of nowhere. Little things like that, just that one tiny mistake caused him to have like a 9-10 kill streak. It's amazing what just little things can do.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, Cristola having a couple of big games as well. It was 15-8-11 on Slayer Plaza as well, so he was in there, he was giving it as well, and I noticed there's a bit of needle between him and Batchford throughout the entire series. Whenever they got one up on each other, they were a bit louder, weren't they?
I think it's one of those things where I think they realise Batchford's, I don't like to use the term, but an emotional player. You know, he can tilt a bit, but...
Passionate.
Passionate. But the other side of that we saw from Batchford as well, which is when he gets on a roll, you can't stop him.
Yeah.
And I think they tried to play on Cristola a little bit by sort of singling him out from that Vibe lineup. You know, he's the most inexperienced player, you know, it's his first finals, things like that. And this is Halo, you know, this isn't going out for dinner with your parents. You know, you're trying to win the game, there's money on the line here, so you're going to do everything you can to win the game, and I think Infused, that's pretty smart from them, to be honest with you.
It's like you said, momentum is used quite a lot in this game, and last season, Infused had none of it. It's like, yeah, we won, yeah, good stuff, guys. Yeah. Xbox friends, well done, yeah, it's alright. And like, when they lose, it's like, well, obviously it's going to be exactly the same, but winning, you thought they lost sometimes. But I think the addition of Kimbo being in there, because he's a very loud player, also Havoc is one of the loudest in the scene, and to have him as a coach, it's completely game-changing for the entire team. And Batchford, it's just funny how to see him actually talk trash now just to everyone, you know, showing it that he's got it, and he really wants this win. I reckon Infused could really do a good match against Fabi.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that, obviously, in a bit more detail when we come back, because that is the next game, the winner's game. But just wrap up on this one as well. When you look at the scores and you look at the types of game types that each team won, it was very even all the way through, except for the fact that actually when you analyse it at the end, Infused won both CTF, so that's ended up being like a very important game type for them. But it wasn't that clear cut either game, was it? I mean, the last one was probably a little bit more clear cut, but the first time round, with the disconnect in the middle of it as well, they were 1 up, then they were 2-1 down, then they'd come back and win 3-2. So even in the game types they've seemingly dominated on paper, it wasn't that clear cut.
Well, this is the problem, see, with CTF, it is one of the most diverse game types in Halo's history, just in general. But yeah, you may say stuff like, yeah, it was 3-2 in flags, etc. But you've got to see the little things. With Infused, when they capped, they were very clean caps, they kept them on the spawn, they knew exactly what to do, and basically made sure they didn't get to their half of the map by the time they capped. But with Vibe, it was messy. Like, at times, like, they barely scored a cap, sometimes they'd leave it. You know, there was a lot of times where they should have kept them on spawn when you see clearly they didn't. They'd let 1 or 2 players get away, and you've seen it. I think again, Batchford again, he was on their side of the map, just took one guy to slow things down and like basically just mess things up for Vibe.
For me personally, there's one game that just totally changed that series and how it was going. I just felt that once that game was over, the series was decided, and that was that Truth Slayer.
Yeah.
I mean, Vibe were up. What was it, like 16-3?
Something ridiculous.
Pretty
like
sure
that.
it was 16-2.
16-2. I was giving Infused too much credit.
Yeah.
And then it was tied up at 31-31, and I think it finished 50-39.
Yep.
So look at that for a kill swing. Like, that's an insane kill swing. And it's momentum again. You saw the fuel rod, Batchford's killing frenzy. It was just And I think that took so much life out of Vibe that it was just difficult to get back.
It reminds me of Halo 1 in some ways, where like literally like you could play Prisoner on 2v2 or 4v4.
Hold on, guys, we're going to Jackanory now with Harry Thomas.
Back in my day.
30, it could be like 35, and then it could turn around and be 50-35. With Halo 5, it has that small element in Slayer where literally you can turn things around. If they're 20-30 kills ahead, you've got to keep your head in the game and just not assume you've won, because I know in previous Halos, like if you had like a 10-15 kill lead, it's like, yeah, you know, this isn't a bad kind of thing. But no, it's not. It's very similar to Halo 1 in terms of like how you can make a massive comeback in Slayer and sometimes CTF.
Yeah, it's very momentum. You mentioned it at the top of the show.
Yeah.
That went into the CTF truth as well, didn't it? Batchford kind of just started as he finished, almost like the two maps blended together and he just carried on playing exactly the same way. So, yeah, big games from him, big games from his team. Let's take a look at the bracket right now and update you as to where we are. We've had 2 of our matches so far here in the 4-season Pro League finals, and you can see there, Fab 4-0 over Pulse and Team Infused 4-2 over Vibe. Those 2 teams will drop to the lower bracket. We'll see those games a little bit later on, Pulse versus Vibe. Next up though, Fab Esports take on Team Infused, and just a little look forward to that, gents, before we get too excited about it, but this is the match that Fab lost in regular season.
Good point.
This could
Very
be
good point.
the series which Infused beat them on. This could be that team here today. Could you imagine?
With the underdogs from the underground in Infused taking on the Titans of Fabi. And it's, yeah.
Do you want to do the throws? That was really good. I feel like we've missed out now.
Yeah, I think I've used up all my good ones for today. It's downhill from here, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all gone. It's all gone wrong. We are going to take a quick break. When we do come back, though, we will have our winners bracket final. Who goes through to the grand final? We'll find our first of the 2 teams, of course, and then focus on the lower bracket. Don't forget, of course, the competition is up and running right now. Head over to esl.pm/Halo for a chance at all the great goodies over there as well. Astro providing headset mixers and also hoodies from ESL and hoodies, lanyards and t-shirts from our friends at Jinx. Head over there right now to make your entry. As I said, when we come back, we will have the winners bracket final. We'll see you soon.